really love, I love that I have so many mixes. I love that I'm like, now I love it. You know, I'm accepting myself, and I'm kind of going through something right now that I've looked at so many different religions, so many different spiritual people and like mythologies and different cultures, and like I don't know too much about my own, and that's like, you know, my granny there is like Christian, and like talking about anything else is like blasphemy, so she doesn't talk about that. So I have this thing of like that, not that I don't know who I am, like I believe in, like I found a spirit in myself, but there's this like thing of unknown, like an unknown thing.
Yeah, you don't know where
like,
you've come from. Like,
yeah,
your heritage.
Yeah,
like literally,
like I'm like, what is that? What I, you know, researching it, there's only so much I can find, and I can't like speak Shona. So when I'm speaking to I have to speak through my mum, who has to speak to my granny. My mum doesn't know because she's fucking learned French and German at school. I'm like, what? I was like, can you tell me what you guys like? What were people believing in? What was the creation story? What is, like, you know, I know that there's ancestors and this, but there has to be more. There has to be like there's some like stories, you know how
there's like gaps,
stuff like
people hold on to things,
like stuff like that,
like how can that, I know, so, like obviously like meditation and yoga is more of like an Asia side, and like, you know, you learn, they've held on to their history, they've held on to that culture, passing it on. Usually an Asian person knows the language, like, and for me, I don't have that. Like, you know, and it's kind of pissed off at my dad because I was like, why would you do that? And so my mum, because I was like, you could have continued to do, you could learn, but I have to like let it go because I've been through my, you know, therapy and like spoke to them about it, and there's only so far it can go. And it doesn't really matter it's already like past tense. And because I'm like not black enough or not white enough, I can see things from both sides, and I kind of like have I can see, I might have a very wide perspective that I can see on all sides. And it doesn't mean that I don't fit anywhere. It means that I fit in everywhere. Rather than it singling me out, it actually means that I can like relate.
Yeah, you're just like, so you've got this really bubbly energy that I just feel like so comfortable around you, and it was kind of from the immediate moment I met you, I was like super comfortable. And I think that's a lot to do with the amount you've moved around. It kind of clicked in my head as soon as you said, you know, the amount of places you've lived in, it just made sense because you've been able to integrate with different people, and it was all by choice. Like, you chose to move to those places. Like, I moved because my family moved, not because I chose to. And, you know, I want to move at some point, and then we'll see what happens then, because you have to take the leap and you have to make new friends and you have to talk to people and be positive so people like you, so you have friends. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you've been able to, your identity is just like global. Like, do you know what I mean?
I'm everywhere.
Yeah. And it's super cool. You don't have to be tied to one place. Like,
it's just the feeling of I have it when I'm with lots of family, but it's the feeling of standing out, or like not having like that a root, and and knowing that it's because of like, you know, slavery and people coming in and being like, this is the Bible, and knowing that this is like part of my history, and I don't want it to define. I don't think like the past can define who you are, but obviously it gives you an idea. It's part of, you know,
like a culture passed down. Like they don't realize that they've been brainwashed from that, hundreds of years.
Exactly. That's like scares me.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, what?
Is there any like traditions or anything that your family, like for example, that your mom does, or
no? But I mean, it's very like, I've always done like. Always known about tarot, astrological, like this, but this is very nothing that I would relate to being Zimbabwean or from Africa. But astrology, tarot, you know, crystals, stones. This is like my whole life. I've known herbal medicine, these things. But I also know there's a lot of like voodoo in Africa, and there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of like, it's like one end to the other is insane.
Yeah. Did your grandma do voodoo, Melanie? Because
my grandma.
I'm only saying this because we posted the picture on on Mother's Milk Instagram, who sponsors this podcast, whoop, whoop. And your brother commented saying it was like a Halloween shoot, and your brother was like, ask grandma about this voodoo shit she used to do.
No, like my mom's told me about stuff like spells.
Oh